Muir and Diode lasers have become quite popular lately, and I have had the opportunity to test out several of the new lasers while they are still in prototype and beta mode. This new laser is no different. Introducing the D1 Ultra 30-watt fiber and 20 diode laser. This is by hansMaker. Now, hansMaker is made by the Hans Laser Company, which is one of the leading laser makers in industrial settings. Now, this one is the newest to be created for the end user market. Now, as you can see, this laser has actually been packed very well and comes with everything that I need to get started. Once I open the doors to the laser, I find the inline fan for helping to pull away the fumes and particles. They have included all of the plugs needed for power, connecting the fan, the foot pedal, and more. The user installation manual I found also lists everything that should be included necessary for troubleshooting. Now, I really like it when companies include sample packets of testing materials. This makes it easier for me to find the proper settings without having to use my own personal materials. And they have included things like paper, wood, acrylic, leather, slate, metal business cards, wooden keychains, as well as stainless pendants. Plugging everything in was super simple, and everything is labeled by an image, so it makes starting things up really easy. The laser is currently in prototype phase, but as you can see by the projects and images that are on their site, they actually have some pretty big plans for these, especially when you then add it to things like the rotary as well as the conveyor belt. Downloading the software is easy. Go to the hansMaker site, go into the software portion, scroll down, and you will be able to find your different software that you need. In my case, I need one that's compatible with Mac OS. Just select download for that, and then you can install it. Once we have our screen open, let's take a look really quickly. We've got the home button, which will take us back to all of our recent projects. I can come into an untitled project. That's just the one that we are going to start with. Here along the top, we have where we can open a project, save as, and undo, redo, and then we have plain processing. This is for when we add additional accessories. Right now I'm going to be working with plain processing. That's just where we have it nice and flat. Then you have a rotary device. You have a large scale processing. This would be one that will be working with something like a conveyor belt. You've got position processing and 3D processing. These will both work with the onboard camera in the machine. Here along the left, you can import an image, your text. You have some basic shapes, line, rectangle, circle. You can also draw a vector just by freehand. Then there are different shapes that they have that are built in. Right now it's a little lightweight. However, I believe that as they get going, they should be adding more to this and making it a little more robust. You have the ability to make a QR code and a barcode. So you have a couple of options there. Then you also have some images that can be imported. These are all going to be including a depth map. So these are going to be a lot more sculptural. In addition, you have some AI image generation that you can do. Then down here at the bottom, we have our arrow key that allows us to click and point on things. We also have a hand. This is going to allow us to pick up and move things around. We also have our layer control. This is where we can then begin to work with several different pieces that we might be working with. You'll see that in my video coming up. So first, let's work with some of the different shapes. We're just going to select a couple of flowers over here. So we can take this flower and maybe we'll throw one more flower in here as well. A little different than what you're about to see, but you can easily see that it's quite simple to put these into the page. Now that we have a couple of items in here, let me show you a couple things. If I select this flower over on the right side, now we can change properties. Line engrave, fill engrave. Now, once I have it in fill engrave, the material library comes available. This is going to be on leather, so I'm going to select my brown leather, and then it opens up the options and shows you a little bit of a testing. You can select one of these and it will automatically input those settings onto the right-hand side properties box. Now, I'm going to select the infrared or the diode laser, but this automatically put that in there for me based off of what I had selected. I can also change the density, and that's how many lines per millimeter it's going to be printing. So the next thing I'm going to do is come over to the left, check out my layers. You can see that I now have multiple layers on here. There's a layer panel and an object panel. When I select framing, it's going to then put an outline on my material. But first, you'll notice that I get an error that says that the motor has not been reset yet. This has to happen every time you turn on the machine. So yes, I'm going to confirm that. Give that a second, and what will happen is the motor is going to go up and then back down. Now this is happening a little bit faster. It takes about a minute for this process to happen. It's going to go up, it'll hear a click a couple times, and then it will come back down. And now you can see my object is being framed. This is where it's going to print. I've now told it to go ahead and run this, and we begin to see the laser marking on our leather. Again, this is going in a speeded up time, but it does work well. Also notice the smoke is being pulled away, and that is because I have a fan that is attached to the back of the machine that pulls that smoke away. For my testing, I wanted to try a lot of different materials with a lot of different settings. So first I started off with paper, and you saw how quickly it drew that little turkey on there. I was super impressed with the speed. Then it's in film mode. So my setting here was too high, and I completely vaporized the paper. So from here on out, I'm going to actually have this at 4 times the speed. So things are going to go really, really fast. I wish that it went this fast, but it does not. However, I was quite impressed with the speed on some of the pieces. Paper was really quick. Even the film mode, it took a little bit longer, but not too bad. And it was kind of fun to see how all of this worked. So in between each of these, like some of them, I'm actually changing the settings. Now this happens to be a business card. It's one of the aluminum coated metal business cards. So first what it does is it'll throw the outline of something on there, and then it'll go back in and fill it. In this case, I'm trying out the diode. So the first one was with the infrared, and now this is with the diode. I wanted to see kind of what the difference between the two would be. The blue light diode didn't give me as bright of a cut. So now I'm going to try some slate tiles. This worked really well on here, and I did play around with the settings. So at the very end of this video, you'll see some of the different pieces that I created, and you'll notice the difference on the different tiles. And that's because some of them I gave it a little higher power, slower speed, or maybe I gave it a little lower power with a faster speed. And that's going to change how the effect comes out. Now again, this is going at about 400 times or 400%. This is on stainless. This laser did amazing on stainless. And here I was just playing around with this different settings to see if I could get it lighter, get it darker. So as you play with some of those settings, you'll get different effects. There is not a frequency setting on that. Now, I believe that that's a software issue, and it may be something that they're looking into adding later. But if you can change your frequency, you can also start to get a lot of different colors on stainless steel as well. I did play with this in sterling and brass, copper. I was not able to get as good of results on those yet. I did get some results, however, it took a very long time. Whereas with stainless, it was very quick. And look at the dark result I got on this. So this is a leather patch. This is, again, I just selected the options that it gave me based off of the leather settings, which is a blue diode laser. And there was very little marking that happened on there. So I decided to run it one more time with the infrared laser or the fiber laser. And on this one, I got a really pretty gold. It actually has kind of a sheen to it. Then I tried it on black acrylic. So once again, I'm trying this here with the fiber laser, and it is going down into that acrylic, but notice that beautiful color that it gave me. And then I changed the power on it and the speed, and that's how I'm able to cut through this. Now I had to go around this about 6, 7, 8 times in order for it to cut through completely. And you'll see here on this one, it did not cut through quite all the way. So I just had to kind of pop that out a little bit. And that means that I'll also have a little bit of cleanup. Wanted to try that one more time here with a little flower. So I'm able to go in and create these outlines, and then I can have a cut line as well as a fill line, which is kind of nice. So that's what I'm doing here for this little pendant on the flower. Again, it didn't cut all the way through, so just pop that out, but that means there will be a little bit of cleanup. There's those tiles I was talking about. So I wanted to play on wood. Wood is a little interesting because the way that the wood grain is, it can change and alter or affect, like right there on that L, you can see that the laser didn't engrave super well. There's our little flowers that we did on the leather when we were very first testing. I tried out things. I was able to cut out wood. I need to play with the settings. There was a lot of charring. There's our paper that you saw a little bit earlier. Also, I told you I played on stainless. Now this got really, really hot and I didn't quite cut through, but a little bit more time and I'm pretty sure I could have cut out the stainless steel stars on those. So more testing is needed there. So again, this is that metal business card that I was playing around with. Also tried out some images. As you can see, I need to do some more testing here as well. Then we've got our leather patch. I love that little thing. And like I said, it's got that little bit of a gold sheen, which is kind of cool. So now here is that pendant. Depending on how the light hits it, that is actually pretty dark. Which it did beautifully on stainless. Now this tile broke. This is one that I tried to do one of those embossing. And again, I think if we had some different settings, I'd be able to get a little better. This is brass. You can see the result is a little mixed. That is some more testing. That actually took about an hour. So some more things. This is a wood keychain. It turned out beautifully as well. So this machine, like I've said before, is in prototype mode as well as the software in beta. The Kickstarter just went live this morning, so I'm a little bit late on this video, but it's been a lot of testing. And as you can see from what I have done, there's a lot more testing to be done as well. Now, as I understand it, because it is a prototype, it is in beta mode. That's why it's on Kickstarter. That's how they raise their money to get into that further development. Plus, they use all of us as the prototype testers to really see where the improvements can be. If it's something that you'd like to see, make sure you check that description down below, and I'll put all the links and everything like that for the machine in there. It is pretty cool. It does work pretty fast. I'm not yet happy with how it works on some of the metals, and that is going to be my next video where I'm going to test that out just a little bit more. If you guys know my schedule, you know I travel a lot, so I have not spent as much time with this as I would like to, and I'm kind of excited for the next few weeks where I'll be testing this out even further. So make sure you guys stay tuned. As always, if you have questions, make sure you just leave those down in the comment section for me. Subscribe, like it, ring that bell, and make certain that you mark that you want all the notifications so you don't miss when I post my updates. We'll see you guys next time.